So now this is our second video on our series of proportionality, and this one is going to be involving inverse proportionality rather than direct proportionality. And now here is the question. And the question that we have taken off of savemyexams.co.uk, by the way, make sure to make an account, not sponsored. D is inversely proportional to W plus 1 squared. D equals 32 when W equals 4, and the actual question is find D when W equals 7. Now this is interesting because normally you'll be dealing with Y's and X's in the inverse proportionality, but instead D is going to be the replacement for Y and W is going to be the replacement for X. So now the unusual equation that you will deal with is Y equals K over X, but in this case it's actually going to be D equals K over W. But since it's not just W, it's W plus 1 squared, then that is what it's going to be. D equals K over W plus 1 squared. So now the first thing that you want to do is do the initial thing that it gave you. So D is going to be equal to 32, and then that's going to equal K over 4 plus 1 squared, which of course is going to be 32 equals K over 25, as 4 plus 1 is 5 and 5 squared is 25. So now to find K, or the constant, then we need to do 32 times 25, which equals 800. So K, the constant, is actually going to be 800 for this question. So now moving on to the next part of the question, which is actually what they want you to answer. We're going to do the exact same thing, except W is now going to be equal to 7, so now it's going to be D equals K over 7 plus 1 squared. So that's going to be D 7 instead of W.
We'll do that later.
Okay, so D is going to be K over 7 plus 1 squared, which is of course D equals K equals 64, as 7 plus 1 is 8, and 8 squared is 64. And since the constant is 800, then we will replace the K with the number 800. And now in order to find D, we do 800 divided by 64, which equals 25 over 2, or 12.5, which is the answer to this question. Now, inverse proportionality is usually slightly more difficult than direct proportionality. However, if you use the correct equations, it ends up being quite simple. Thank you very much, and make sure to like, comment, and subscribe.